Oh, yeah. So we're just going to go right into... Yeah, we'll pause it. Okay. Let me switch guitar real quick. Yeah.
We're going to be doing a couple of Halloween songs this morning, because Halloween is this coming Saturday. This first one is from 1959, and it's called Batman, Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love to take my baby to the movie show, so I can try to smooch her while the lights are low. But she won't cuddle to a story of romance. There's only one way I've got a chance. It takes the Batman, Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula to put her in the mood for love. It takes the cat, girl, dog, boy, creature from the Black Lagoon to make her feel like making love. It takes a monster from outer space to make my baby want my embrace. And when I hold her, she's like a dream. If only she could hear somebody scream. Doesn't go for parking down in Lover's Lane, and lots of moonlight doesn't drive this girl insane. She thinks that dreaming isn't really, it's a bore, but I've found what she's looking for. It takes the Batman, Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula to make her tender as can be. It takes the cat, girl, dog, boy, creature from the Black Lagoon to get her making love with me. If there's a madman whose teeth the curl grows a tarantula that wrecks the world, she gets romantic. It's really quaint when all the other women start to faint. It takes a Batman, Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula to put her in the mood for love. Takes the cat, girl, dog, boy, creature from the Black Lagoon to make her feel like making love. It takes an alien invasion from space to make my baby want my embrace. Or a madman whose teeth are curled, releasing giant ants upon on the world. If only she could hear somebody scream. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Unity of Boulder, all of you tuning in out there. And if you're tuning in, you're about to see an amazing spiritual expanding awareness service coming your way. And if you want to, you can text a friend or two and tell them, tune in on live stream, or you can pick it up on Facebook, or later on you can pick it up on your YouTube. So tune in to Unity of Boulder and get in touch and get inspired. I've just noticed by the song here, we do it all here at Unity. So we even have our Halloween songs for you. So we go out of our way to do everything that's just current and right and good and true. But I'm beginning to understand there's something about, maybe it's Boulder. I saw a couple of people the other day outside a coffee shop, and one lady said to the other, "Oh my goodness, where did you get your mask?" She said, "Oh, I had to send away for it. You send them a picture of yourself online, and then they send you a mask to match your outfit." I don't know where the coronavirus is taking us, but they're turning that into a holiday too. So anyway, turn it into a holiday. Enjoy. That's what we're here for. This is Unity of Boulder.
You will do amazing things with the joys each new day brings, and with every breath you take, less the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole and the band. Wow. I love that song. The song is written by Michael Gott, who is the senior minister of the Houston Unity, which is one of the more successful unities. And he was the assistant minister to Howard Caesar. And he always played the background music, and I mean, it's just an amazing center. But now he leads a lot of his sermons and shares amazing music like that during their services, and he's just divinely inspired. The words of his music and the emotions that he brings to it, it's just, you just feel your heart opened, you know, reminded of our connection with this greater love, this greater power we call God. So my talk title today is Our Vision for a New World. And I came up with this topic after listening to a YouTube of this couple that put together a song titled, "This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song." And I watched it probably 50 times this week because I needed this song so badly in my life. It's just very comical and very, very deeply inspired, and it's all spontaneous. And so I will be playing for you this YouTube later, this incredible song that they put together. But it talked about how we need to keep planting a vision for the world we are creating. This idea that, you know, we've been going through so much change. All of us have been catapulted into an environment since, you know, March of 2020, some will say a little sooner than that, where our life kind of has just been on a roller coaster ride. You know, unless you were retired and had a very set way of staying away from people and not really going out, you were majorly affected by what COVID has brought to our personal worlds. And so if there's anything we've learned at this time, is that in a blink of an eye, everything can change. And this time it wasn't a personal experience. We've all been through times where our whole life has changed, and we've gone through the cycles, but we've been very much isolated in our own experience. One of the things that I think has been helpful is knowing that collectively we've all been going through it. So it's not been just an isolated, we've been isolated from each other, but there's this commonality in a sense that we've all been in this together. And we're hitting a crest. We're hitting a point now where I believe we're coming through this thing, but like they say, it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So we're at that pinnacle point where it's like, how much longer can we do this? You know, how much more can we withstand? And that's kind of how I felt this week in my own life, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but the only thing that we have as a constant in life is change. But this particular year has brought about probably more change than most of us want. But before we entered March of 2020, I know that collectively we've all wanted to see a change for this world. And what was it going to take to uproot all of our linear living and doing the same thing over and over and over again and then expecting a different result? We're all being completely turned upside down and having to face what is true, what is needed, what's important, and finding out how we can also stay peaceful in the midst of the turmoil. So I came across this writing that was penned by Celia Fenn, but she says that it was channeled, she was channeling Archangel Michael. And these are the things that she wrote, and I thought that this is very helpful. Beloved souls of light, we know this has been a difficult year for you and for the planet. It has seemed like a year of shock, surprise, conflict, and division that is ongoing. It has left many people stressed, fatigued, and confused. But we want you to know that this is because the process of ascension is accelerating, and you're moving into higher frequencies at a rapid pace. Really, beloveds, you're living through lifetimes of experience in a single year. This is because you are completing a major cycle of experience and beginning a new one. The old cycle was third dimensional, and the new cycle is fifth dimensional. At this point, these two-dimensional time frequencies are existing together, creating a chaos vortex that is necessary to collapse the old matrix and grids and seed new possibilities. In this fluid in-between period, it is often difficult to see the process or to know which quantum seeds will germinate and manifest the new earth that is birthing. At this time, it is important to always be aware of what is important and to always be aware of what is happening around you and what frequencies are taking your attention. Strive to stay in the higher frequencies of peace and love. We say this because in the coming months of October and November, you will need to be balanced and centered and to deal with the powerful energies that will arise in the days between October 31st and November 11th. It's the full moon, it's the October full moon to the Scorpio gate on 11/11/2020, which most people, I think, believe that we've been really just getting to November 2nd in the election. Like we're thinking, well, that will bring about whatever change we're all voting for, and I'm not going to talk about that up here. However, regardless of who is elected, the change is being birthed regardless. We can't put all that power on one person. We have to get our root system in knowing that whatever happens, happens. Okay, it's kind of that whole idea that Native Americans will say, it is what it is. You have to accept what's going to happen. And it may be in your favor and it may not be in your favor. Regardless of, we still have to stay in our highest frequency of peace and our highest state of consciousness. So preparing for that highest state, that when we're living an enlightened life, we're not pushed and pulled by the circumstances that are coming in and through our lives, the changes that show up. I mean, yes, if we're enlightened, and that's why we come here, is to remind how we can get to this ascension place. But the more we meditate and the more we do our spiritual practice, the more we stay in the center and more in that grounded energy where God just moves in and through us, in and through all situations, and we can remain peaceful and happy. In Wild Mercy on page 25, it says, contemplative life is a tapestry of intention and surrender, of reaching out and letting go, of stillness and exhilaration, form and formlessness. It is devotional and non-dual. It is grounded in our connection with the earth and our interconnectedness with all beings. And it is about moments of rapture in the face of the most ordinary phenomena, in which our particular embodied experience gives way to an undifferentiated meddling with all that is. This is the dance of masculine and feminine, which call each other from the core of our soul DNA, demanding reunification and wholeness. So, as many of you know, I can only speak to my own experience, and I share my own journey, and hopefully it will relate with the things that are going on in your own life. But in the last week, my family has been evacuated from our home twice. And we have been staying in the church office with 2 kids and 3 dogs, and still maintaining the busyness of our life with our work and with the Christmas season coming up. And it's been quite overwhelming. I really are no words to express the kind of week that I have. And And the idea of sleeping in the office, I mean, that's kind of a stretch. I mean, I have a little tiny couch in my office with 3 dogs piled on top of me because they don't understand why they're not home, you know, so they're all freaking out, and kids kind of freak out when the stability all of a sudden is just, it's uprooted. And being a mother, your whole world is trying to make everybody feel a sense of peace in the midst of this feeling like we could lose our home. So each time we evacuated, we packed different things. You start to get a perspective of what you actually really need to sustain your life with children and school, homeschooling, and clothing, and shoes, and all of it. You know, the first time we left, we had a lot less. And the next time, we had a lot more. You know, you're like, you can't really reinvent it an entire 20 years and pull it off. You realize how expensive that could put you in the poorhouse beyond belief. Like, how do people take care of everything that you need every single day when they didn't even get a chance to get their stuff out? I mean, just the whole reality of it was quite unbelievable. So in the midst of this chaos, one morning I woke up here in the office before the kids and the dogs, and it was about 5 in the morning, and I was getting ready to get ready and get school going for the kids in a little while, and I woke up with an anxiousness that day. This being not in my comfortable zone had finally taken a toll. That morning I woke up with a sense of claustrophobia, a feeling like I can't go back to my house. They will literally not let me go back to my house. You know, there's police officers keeping you from going and getting things that you're remembering that you'd like to get, and I was feeling kind of frustrated. And I thought of this woman, Julie Hamilton, who is a woman that owned the house before I bought it about 5 years ago. And it crossed my mind. I thought to myself, I wonder if in the 20 years that she owned this house, if she ever evacuated the house. And immediately, the second I said that to the universe, I just heard a no, like palpable no. And I thought, well, that's, you know, kind of strange. And the next thing I know, I hear keys rattling in the office, and I'm like in my bathrobe. It's 5 in the morning. We're in the church. Who the heck could be coming in this building at this time? And to back up a little bit, Julie Hamilton, a few years ago, got hired here as our accountant. And it's just all these coincidences. I just have a connection and a synergy with this woman, and we are very similar people that we would be in the same home. And the person that walks in is Julie. And I'm just thinking about her at 5 in the morning. And I said, she goes, oh my gosh, are you staying here? And I said, yeah. She knew we were evacuated. And she goes, oh my gosh. I said, you know, we weren't staying at our parents because it's too far away and they don't have internet up there, and we just really wanted to keep track of the house and stuff. And I said, you know, Julie, have you ever been evacuated from the house in the 20 years that you lived there? And she said, no. And the way she said no was exactly what I had just heard in my head. And I got shivers. And there was like this, you know, when you're vulnerable and you're in a state of trying to find a state of allowance of losing your home, like being in a state of accepting something that's kind of unbearable. It's like the veil between the spirit realm and your human self, it gets thinner. There's a connection to everything. It's like what happens when you're in grief. And she just smiled at me, and we had a connection, and I could feel her sense of fear about the house, even though she didn't live there anymore. I could feel that she had raised all of her children there, and that all of her memories are in that home. And here we get to sit there and be sisters in this moment, and I felt so seen, and I felt so loved, and the universe couldn't have sent me a better person to walk in that door in that moment. And it's that I love about spirit. That the universe is so honorable. You know, right when I'm just in this agitated, I can't deal, and this sisterhood, and it wasn't the words that were being spoken, it was the connection. This understanding, it didn't need words. I needed somebody in that moment. And she showed up at 5 in the morning in the office door. In the Lakota Sioux tradition, a person who is grieving is considered most wakened, most holy. There's a sense that when someone is struck by the sudden lightning of loss, he or she stands on the threshold of the spirit world. The prayers of those who grieve are considered especially strong, and it is proper to ask them for their help. Can you imagine the idea of us asking somebody that's grieving for help? But I so relate with that because there is this divine feeling like Spirit is literally carrying you when you're in those difficult times. There is something really beautiful about it. You might recall what it's like to be with someone who has grieved deeply. The person has no layer of protection, nothing left to defend. The mystery is looking out through that person's eyes. For the time being, he or she has accepted the reality of loss and has stopped clinging to the past or grasping at the future. In the groundless openness of sorrow, there's a wholeness of presence and a deep natural wisdom. When you're displaced by a fire from your home, you're living as if you have already lost it. There's a sort of preparation that is happening within, that is getting mind, body, spirit around this impending possibility. And grief is the only word I can really use. But it's not just the house. It's been this year. This was just the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? Like, this is just, like, really? I mean, with the year that it has been, can you all kind of relate with that? Has it been kind of like a subtle grief that you've been going through this year? Yeah, like many of you can relate with that feeling of just the loss of the old and the feeling of the not knowing of what the new is, right? So I like that original idea of us still keeping the vision of the world we want to see created, that will make this all worth it. If we stay in our highest consciousness in the midst of this and do our practice, do our work to connect with this greater power, this greater love, to feel that palpable connection with this greater something. If there's anything that I believe we're all going through all this for, is it's breaking us open. But first it's a breakdown. And it does break you down. And you can let it just break you. Or it's in that phoenix rising, right? That comes from the ashes. It's the death of the old self. It's the death of the limitations we've held ourselves in. It's the death of the old relationships. It's the death of the career we might have been in and now we're in change. It's the death of what is no longer serving our particular experience. The souls are evolving at a catapult rate, and we're having a hard time keeping up with all of it. And so there's this, some people are going into depressions. It's not clinical depressions, it's circumstantial depression. So grief, depression, maybe not as much joy as we felt before, a sense of being unsettled, maybe a little PTSD from it, fight or flight, whatever word comes up that's like, yeah, it's, you know, people will just make jokes and say, I just can't wait till 2021. It's just got to be a better year. But it's a process. And it's really about looking at where we are in this moment. How can we find peace in the midst of this storm? I know it's going to feel really good when it all just shifts and it all gets easy and it's the new earth and everything is fine. But again, it's always darkest before the dawn. Oh, this isn't on there. In Finding Refuge by Jack Kornfield, he writes, your true nature is something never lost to you, even in moments of delusion, nor is it gained at the moment of enlightenment. It is the nature of your own mind, the source of all things, your original luminous brilliance. You, the richest person in the world, have been going around laboring and begging when all the while the treasure you seek is within you. It is who you are. And And that's why all these things of the outer are falling away. Eventually you go, okay, God, I can't, what is it? What is it that you want me to get out of all this? Okay, God, and then we finally let go of our ego and we go, I surrender. What? What is it that I'm supposed to get so that I can find the peace, so that I can find the physical health, so that I can find my balance and my equilibrium? And the universe is saying to you, just be quiet. And listen to your heart. Take time to be with self. Learn who you're becoming so that you're ready for this new world you're creating. We can't just go from we want a new earth and a new world and just think that we can bring the old versions of ourselves and it's going to fit into that. Because we create everything that we experience. So if we want this catapult of change of consciousness to enter this world, this planet, the consciousness of everything, then this whole year has been about taking to task our own consciousness. All the answers are within you. So we ask for dreams. We ask for intuitive hits. We ask for divine guidance. The voice that I heard that said no, she hadn't been sent out of the house before. I didn't need to call her. Because we are in communication with each other at all times. Right? How many times have you cried this week thinking about people losing their homes and you don't even know them? But you can feel it. There is a sadness in the air. Is there not? Can you feel the sadness in Colorado right now? Is it moving in and through you? Are you not connected to one another? Whether it has an out picturing for your personal life, when you're on your spiritual journey, you're part of this collective. You vibrationally feel what's happening. And when we're not directly getting impacted, then we make sure that we're there to usher in safety, home, help, food, all that we can do to help those in crisis. And they'll be there for us when we are. I can't tell you the outpicturing of love and support I have been given by this community. And it kept us lifted in just a feeling of, ultimately everything is right in this world. We will get through this. And it's because we have each other. It's because we're all in this together. It's just showing up in different ways in our lives. So there's a lot of talk about waking up from 3D consciousness and moving into 5D consciousness. Just a few weeks ago, I closed my women's book group, and we were studying the book Waking Up to 5D. And it was an amazing book, and it was very, very helpful, but if somebody asked me to explain how you teach somebody to wake up from 3D to 5D from that book, I don't think I could just do that in a sentence. But I can talk about the 3 stages of consciousness that we talk about in Unity. So 3 is a consistent number on the awakening and spiritual process. The New Thought Holy Trinity is the 3 phases of intellect. This is the 3 stages of consciousness. The first stage is subconscious knowledge, driven by instinct and emotions. This is the state of ancient man, or man as animal. In stage 1, people are ignorant of God. The Old Testament is the teaching for stage 1 man. It says, do this or God will punish you. It is fear-based at the deepest emotional level. The message to man is become aware of God outside of you, which I don't like referring to man, but I didn't have time to change this all around. The second, obviously, the feminine and the female and the people, and we're all one. Let's just join the masculine and the feminine together as I read this. The second stage is conscious knowledge. It is characterized by the quest for information which builds the intellect, but ultimately comes up spiritually empty. This is the state of modern people, or people as thinker. In stage 2, Stage 2, people are aware but still separate from God's spirit and source. The New Testament is the teaching for stage 2 man. It says, God is not vengeful. He loves you and asks you to embrace his teachings. Your life will be happier if you make room for God. Again, it's persuasive and still based on fear and separation. The third is super consciousness knowledge. It is the state of total surrender of all intellectual solutions, all need to control or plan. It is characterized by conscious unknowing. It is the state of the divine person or co-creator. Stage 3, you will find God in your own heart and in the hearts of your brothers and sisters. God cannot even be separate from you. From the divine is your very essence. You know that the only way to me is through your own heart and through the complete embrace of your experience. This is the essence of your surrender to me. So, I talked about how the fire was the icing on the cake. And it's just a funnier way to say it than to be like, it was just the last and be all, whatever. Before that, a few months ago, my dog got really, really sick, and then it gave it to our other 2 dogs. We've been dealing with 3 dogs that have been really, really under the weather for a while, and I've been kind of keeping it quiet, not talking about it, and just being in a very prayerful place. Shad and Irna, my brother and my sister-in-law, left, and I have a new music director here, and everything has been in a shift, in a change, and I've been kind of trying to navigate all of it by myself so I can figure out what all the roles are before I can hand them off to everybody else from a leadership perspective, with my children being homeschooled, in my office, with 3 sick dogs, with all new employees, and it's been a lot. So that's why when it got to the house, it was just, how much more can the universe hand a person to go through? And I've had this funny little thing that's been coming through my head. You know, it's funny how you start to relate with your parents as you get older, and the things they used to say, and then all of a sudden you get it, like you just really get it. My parents always had funny sarcastic things to say about life. You know, they're New Yorkers, and so they had these little unempowering statements that were kind of like referring to the fact that God has a sense of humor, or God can give you more than you think you can handle, you know, and it's true. Like, I've lost a child, and I remember going through that. For me, that was, God handed me more than I could handle. Yes, I did get through it, and you do get through it, but there are moments in life when they say, God will never hand you more than you can handle. It comes pretty close. You can be pushed pretty good. And so there's a statement my mom used to say with a little bit of sarcasm. She goes, when something would be handed to her after there's just way too many things that are handed to her, she'd say, oh, it just gets better, right? And we'd always laugh as kids when she'd say that, but now I kept hearing that in my head. It's like, oh, it just gets better. You know, and it's a negative statement, but sometimes we just have to kind of validate ourselves that there's kind of a positive statement. It is getting better, but you just keep getting handed things you basically feel like you can't handle. One of my spiritual and comedic heroes, Jim Gaffigan, have you ever seen this comedian? He's awesome. He speaks to finding out he and his wife are expecting their 4th child. And he asks his audience, if you want to know what it's like to be expecting a 4th child, he says, it's like drowning and someone hands you a baby. And I just love that, you know? I mean, doesn't it feel like that this year? It's just like you got more than you can handle, and it's like, here, Why don't we give you a baby to handle in the midst of all this, right? So I'm going to read a little bit more of that wording that was penned by Celia Fenn, channeling Archangel Michael. And she says this: when you can allow things to be just what they are. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hold on. This is about the Phoenix process. The 1111 gateway is a powerful portal that allows you and the earth to adjust your timeline and to create new and higher experiences as you evolve and manifest. In this 11-day portal, so that's between October 31st and November 11th, in this 11-day portal period between the full moon in October and the 1111 portal, the Earth has transitioned from the constellation of Libra to the constellation of Scorpio relative to the Sun. The bright star Antares dominates the night sky, and the interstellar frequencies are deep and powerful. The symbol of Scorpio is the scorpion, but less well-known symbols are also the eagle and the phoenix. The scorpion represents the lower or shadow aspects of Scorpio, those of basic instinct and aggression. You can expect to see many people coming from animal instinct and aggression in this time if they are triggered and unaware, which that's the 3D consciousness. All right, so you can expect to see many people coming from that awareness. But the second symbol, that of the eagle, represents those who are soul aware and have the wisdom to see the bigger picture. Like the eagle, they can soar above the chaos and act with discernment. But beloved ones, those of you who are shifting, transforming, and ascending with the earth will follow the flight of the phoenix. This represents the complete transmutation of the old and the past, and the birthing and ongoing manifestation of the new. The phoenix was the symbol that the Syrian star teachers used to describe the process of creation out of chaos. I like that. Creation out of chaos. And they called it the Bennu bird. In their wisdom stories, the Bennu bird would live for a certain time and then would burst into flame and annihilate itself. But from the ashes would rise a new Bennu bird. This story represents the cyclic processes of life and creation of material reality. Those of you who are undergoing the flight of the phoenix will feel as though everything you knew has been taken away. You may feel confused and sad or angry, or you may feel a deep peace if you allow yourself to move through this process in a place of acceptance and surrender. You will know that you are following the laws of creation and allowing yourself to birth into a new cycle of self and of experience. This will be intense, and it will reach a climax point at the 1111 portal. I really resonate with this. I really feel that this is where we're heading, because we're at that point. I mean, literally next Saturday is October 31st. And it really is at that point where we're like, I don't know if I can handle much more. You know, it's a lot, you know. Everybody I talk to, they're being pushed to their threshold. But we're being pushed to our threshold to birth something new. We're being pushed to our threshold because when we're pushed to that, we see the strength that truly does live within our divinity. And we also feel the Spirit of God moving in and through all of it too. Because the universe is honorable. As much as we're being pushed, we couldn't catapult and bring the changes we need to if it was going to be easy. Easy doesn't make us motivated to grow. Unfortunately, we very much find the light from the darkness, the dark night of the soul, the times that we've had to internalize and stay away from people and listen to our heart and remember why we are here. Why are we here? If you think that it's just by chance that you're here experiencing what's happening on earth at this time, and you didn't choose to be here during this time, then that's a disconnect. Everything that you've gone through in your life has been preparing you to face this time. Because we are the messengers for spirit to be created on the earth, for us to take care of the Mother Earth. And the only one that can do it is us, collectively giving everything that we have. And if we don't meet the threshold of the things that are no longer serving us, then we're living in a broken being. What we're doing is we're birthing into our wholeness. And so therefore, we can now create wholeness for everything about the planet, the politics, the truth, the light. No matter what, it's going to happen. And it's very exciting. Very exciting. In Wild Mercy, it says, when you can allow things to be just what they are and show up for reality with open hands, clear eyes, and a compassionate heart, a space opens in which there is room for both the fire of desire and also equanimity. We can want without clinging. We can release without pushing away. And when we surrender to reality, reality doesn't hurt as much. So when we got to go back into our house on Thursday, late Thursday, and we got back and we didn't unload the cars of our stuff because we didn't trust what the fires were going to do. I didn't know if we were going to be there for a few hours or if we were going to be able to stay the night. But I found myself very much kind of manically cleaning the house, feeling this sense of gratitude for the home. And, you know, the ash is all over our furniture and stuff because the fires have been all over. So it's like dust was everywhere, and I'm wiping it down and I'm wiping it down. But earlier that day, when we were stuck at the church and couldn't go home, and we hadn't taken a shower, and we didn't actually have a change of clothes because it was all so packed in this van, there's no way we could find our stuff. It just got chaotic. And we were here at the church, and we're working on the Christmas program, and we had a whole plan for the Christmas program, but then 2 weeks ago, Gerald told us we couldn't have a choir. So now we had to readjust the entire plan. This just adds to the list of the stuff I was just telling you I've been going through. And so I had to find all these soloist and duo numbers and things like that, and I found them all on YouTube. And then that day when I was stuck at the church, I was trying to find sheet music and scores for the songs that I had found. And Mike and I were working side by side for hours and could not find one score for any of the songs. So I'm thinking, I have spent 48 hours finding the songs on YouTube, and now I can't find the music. So it was just another, like, did I just get my time wasted massively? And finally, I was at the bottom enough to go, I'm going to call my sister-in-law, Erna, which is so not like me. I have this tendency to want to do everything by myself and figure it out myself. And I called my sister-in-law and I said, what are the avenues that you found sheet music when we'd find songs on YouTube? Because I'd find them last year, and she'd always find the sheet music, and she told me all the different avenues, which I'd done all those. And she said, well, send me some of the songs that you're not able to find, and let me see what I can do. So when I went home and I'm dusting the whole house and loving my house, I sit down to look at my computer and my email to see if I've heard anything from Erna. And there's an email from her. And she sent me the score for all the songs. I know, I could start crying. I can't explain it. But that moment, I texted her. I said, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. And she said, I'm happy to help. Something about those words was so powerful for me, because it's so hard to ask for help. I'm happy to help. And Mike walked in the room, he's like, why are you crying? I don't know why this is so affecting me, but it was just something taken care of that I couldn't take care of. I couldn't make it happen. And it's a reminder that when we can't do something, we have to ask for help during this. You know, some of us have different talents. Obviously, me finding sheet music on the internet is not one of mine. Oh, well, I guess I can keep going on, keep going on, keep going on. So, I want to share this song that I just felt like it was the motivator to get me through this week of whatever it was. But I do want to say, for those that have children in here, there's just one bad word at the very beginning. So you just want to cover their ears. It's right near the beginning. And we'll put this video on. I hope it blesses you the way it's blessed me.
This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. This is the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on song. I am Abigail, and this is Sean, and we're so glad that you've turned this on and welcomed us into your home, and you are welcome into our home. We're in Dayton, Ohio. We're in Sean's parents' house.
My parents' house.
Sean's parents' house. We were in Louisville when the shit hit, and we packed our 3-year-old into a car. We drove kind of far. We drove here, and we've been so lucky and blessed to be safely here. And we thought we'd be here for like 10 days, tops.
What did we know?
What did we know?
What
What did we know? We thought we knew a lot. We thought we knew a lot. Woo! Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. This is a keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. And we've been mostly healthy. We've been okay. Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right? Are you okay? I hope your body is whole tonight. And if your heart is breaking, I hope it's breaking open. And if your breath is shaking, I hope it's shaking through. And I hope that you've watched a lot of really great television, like a lot of it. And I hope that you find a hand lotion that actually makes your skin feel better. And I hope that you have enough to eat. I hope you're getting enough sleep, and I hope you have enough good company or enough good memory to last you a long time. Keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. We sing the keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going on. Keep going on song. Let's bring some joy into the room, why not? We can try it, or some rage, and some grief and relief. Ooh, I hold my rage, I pray my rage is a fire that cleans my mind out and makes me ready to listen. I pray my pain is a river that flows to the ocean that connects my pain to yours. And I pray my happiness is like pollen that flies to you and pollinates your joy. Oh boy, is that possible? I don't know. We are making this up as we go. We have to make it up as we go. The keep going song, the keep going song. Oh, we're making it up. We're making it up as we go. Keep going on. Keep going on song. And I pray that when we meet again, that the world has changed into the world that we are imagining now together. And I pray that the world has become the world that we're planting inside of ourselves for each other and for our ancestors. That's all I've got is a rough beginning to offer you. We're gonna start by singing some songs in this tiny space together. We're just gonna sing some songs for you, and we hope that when you hear them, you will feel a little bit less alone, and we will feel a little bit less alone in the work and in the hurt, and we will be together tonight somehow, whenever this is, wherever this is. We will be together tonight for the keep going on, keep going on song. This is a keep going on, keep going on song. This is a keep going on, keep going on song.
If you follow us on Facebook, we'll post that video so that you can find it and share it with your friends. When I first saw it, they had about 1,000 views, and in the last 5 days, they have like 29,000 views. So it's just a special song. It just was so divinely inspired, and I can't tell you how much it just made me smile every time and cry. I just loved it. It was so spontaneous, and it's so what we need to hear is just to hear that in your voice. The keep going, keep going, keep going on. Yeah, you could see her aura, right?
Aura she had.
Yep, beautiful. So I think I want to end it there. And I thank you for coming. And I hope you feel inspired and you want to take it with you. Blessings.
We will take an offering for unity now, and we'll do it in our way that the regulations allow us. So we do have offering basket in the lobby as you exit, and some dip jars for your credit cards if you want to dip a credit card and leave a $10, $20 donation, or even more. It's up to you. And those of you at home, you can find a tab on your screen. You can hit that. And we have many different ways for you to tithe to Unity of Boulder so that we can continue to do these inspirational services, and beyond that, all the things that we do in the ministry, which has to do with visiting people that are shut in and visiting hospitals and helping people through counseling, and we have classes and things like that. So we haven't really shut down or curtailed the ministry here that much, and so we are open to sharing the beautiful spirit of truth that runs through Unity, and you're feeling that today. So in preface to what you might be giving today, I'd just like you to think about something. When you look in sometimes online and look at the different works of art that people consider a work of art and how much they cost, sometimes it's a painting, sometimes it's something else, a sculpture, and you say, wow, that's an amazing amount of money that people pay for a work of art. But when you look at the service that took place here this morning, what can you say about it except that it is a work of art? I mean, what was shared here this morning was so fulfilling and opening that you could only define it as a work of art. And that's what this ministry is all about. It's about spirit, using the ministers and the staff and the people that work here to present this heart-opening work of art. Keep that in mind now as you bring to mind the offering you'd like to make so that we can continue to bring these ministries and works of art to the people. So as we take the amount in our mind, in our heart that we would like to give, let's bless with this offering statement. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. I'm going to say that again. You might want to take it deep within yourself. Say it with me and believe it with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give.
Song. If you're familiar with it enough, sing along with Joel and Louis when they sing their parts. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from the slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, it did the mash. They did the monster mash. They did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. They did the mash. It caught on in a flash. The monster mash. They did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. They did the monster mash. It did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. It did the mash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rockin', all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kick of Five. They played the monster mash. They did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. They played the mash. It caught on in a flash. They played the mash. They played the monster mash. Out of his coffin Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvanian twist?" It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It's caught on in a flash. It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band. My monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can monster mash. And to my graveyard smash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can monster mash. Mash. Oh, Igor, Igor. Oh, mash good. Mash good. Thank you.
Hey,
All right, guys.
maybe it's
That was
not all
awesome.
a work of art.
Well, we feel like we tasted a little bit of Halloween, didn't we? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will be out in the lobby to say hello. We probably won't be doing fellowship outside considering it's so cold, but we're so happy it's snowing, so that's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
So let's
that's
all
good.
rise and let's close with I release and I let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife.
With my
Faith, I see the light.
I'm free.
I am free in the Spirit.
Yes,
I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God.
We have prayer partners available to you. If you're facing a challenge, just stay seated in your seat and a prayer partner will come and pray with you. See you next week.